Well, over the years I've been involved in an engine out at Swanbank, sort of part-time weekend, but I never thought I'd be involved in full-time restoration. This time last year I would have laughed at you and said I'd be doing it, but here I am, I'm here. This was built in 1952, and I was a second-year apprentice then. I didn't actually work on it, but I saw it being built. So now here I am, 40 years later, involved in the restoration. It makes you feel very proud.
So this engine worked up until 1969. Come out of traffic and went into the museum at Redbank. It stood there for 22 years on public display, out in the open, getting full of water, rusting away.
It was all pad welded where the rust was. There was a lot of rivets that were had to be cut out, renewed.
When we stripped it right down, we didn't know what we were going to run into. And as we took every little bit off, it gradually got, what would you say, worse and worse, and we knew it was going to develop into a real big job.
Before, in the old days, well, we had all the gear in the world, you know, to work with. But now you've got to improvise all the time because they don't have the equipment.
There's been no quartering jig here since the late 60s, so they had to make one up special. Worked fine.
Everything was sort of really hand done in those days, hand painted, hand scrolled, and then you'd see them get fitted with outside onto the bore themselves and go outside and get tested. And you always have a fascination. There's always something about steam trains that sort of gets you in a bit. I'm even watching videos on TV now of steam trains.
Opens your eyes a bit more to what it was like back in the early days to what it is now. They had a lot harder than what we did, that's for sure.
The young guys, particularly the apprentices, found it a real culture shock. This is real nuts and bolts fitting.
Imperial and metric. That was a big drama, actually. There's a lot of problems with that. You know, because they just don't exist anymore, the bolts.
In any project like this, things go wrong all the way along the line, and that's where you need the teamwork and the commitment of everybody to cope with it, and they've responded to that.
We've had a few hecklers, you know, you get your few little smarties around the place that like to seem to think that you'll never get it done until 1995 sort of business, you know, and we all laugh and grin. And, well, we're laughing now because we're just about the end of it.
We worked in very well, yeah. Yeah, you know, like working in sort of confined spaces in close proximity to each other, you know. If I had to do something, they'd sort of move out of the road, and if they had to do something, I'd sort of move out of the road, or we'd probably work in together. Most of the time we'd work in together, which was an asset to all of us.
An awful lot of hand fitting work in this job, and you know, you can see by the polish, everything that they could polish, the guys polished. As a morale building and team building exercise, I think it's one of the greatest exercises that I've ever been involved with. Whenever they see it running along the track, there'll always be somebody who said, well, I had a bit to do with that, son.
But, oh no, I think it's a thing that's in your blood, being a railway man. I think that it's all part of being a railway man.